Everyone. I'm Esmée St. James, founder and CEO of The Dating Muse. I'm the dating coach for nice guys. Guess who I have with me today? I am honored to have an amazing guest with me today. His name is David Mitchell, and David is the founder of the Authentic Man program. Now, guess what his meetups are called? You're going to laugh. No More Mr. Nice Guy. So, of course, I reached out to him because he's amazing. He's an award-winning public speaker and a certified No More Mr. Nice Guy coach. For the past 20 years, he's been helping men overcome their approach anxiety. Now, isn't that interesting? Because both of our clients often have approach anxiety. And they want to attract the women that they want. So, David, tell me, we'd love to know, what is No More Mr. Nice Guy all about?
Well, No More Mr. Nice Guy is about helping guys with nice guy syndrome. Guys with nice guy syndrome are, they've become such a nice guy. They've gone kind of overboard with the nice guy that they've lost their identity a little bit. It's like if you ask a nice guy, hey, what do you want? A nice guy would most likely say, well, I don't know. I just want everyone else to be happy around me. They've been people pleasing for such a long time that they've kind of lost who they are. So we have support groups that we run with these guys because time and time again, when they're trying to date, they end up in the friend zone and they just don't understand how this keeps happening to them. It's a story that repeats over and over and over for them. So they end up coming to me and they end up coming to my support groups, and we start to fix that problem.
That's amazing. So the friend zone, that is, to me, is a dreaded friend zone because so many of my clients get stuck in that. They meet a beautiful woman and they so much want to date her and they end up just being friends. Tell me, David, how does that happen? It's a big problem out there.
Yes, it's definitely a problem. For nice guys, the reason that they end up in the friend zone primarily is because they don't build attraction with the women that they meet. They tend to jump right to the stage of building rapport with women. They're not very good at expressing their desires. They're not very good at bantering and being playful. So they want to jump right to the rapport stage. And this is almost a surefire way to get into the friend zone with anybody, instead of building that attraction. So that's something that we work on. I actually, in my program, I teach that there are 6 levels of attraction. That attraction actually happens long before the rapport stage. It happens the very instant that you walk into a room. It's about the way that you carry yourself. It's about your social status. It's about how you treat other people. And this is noticed especially by women. Women are extremely perceptive. They notice the smallest little details about everything about you in just a very, very small amount of time. So that's one of the ways that they end up in the friend zone. It's also a little bit of a conscious thing for them because they started doing this in middle school and high school because they really didn't have, a lot of guys really didn't have a lot going for them as far as attraction, and so they kind of discovered that, well, if I end up being friends with these girls, at the very least they'll talk to me. So they kind of grew into that paradigm, and it just kind of continued over and over again.
But so are you telling me that these guys that become Mr. Nice Guys are just not attractive, or is there another deeper reason that they become nice guys? I mean, what makes a nice guy from the other kind of guy?
Well, that's a really interesting question. Nice guys, they tend to have this deep shame that's, it's called toxic shame. Dr. Glover talks about it in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to have this deep toxic shame where they don't feel that they're worthy. And it's an interesting dichotomy because nice guys end up, they end up feeling like they're not worthy, yet at the same time they feel like, hey, I'm such a great guy. How come no women are dating me? So it's a really interesting thing that happens with them. What happens is they end up kind of building this mask, right? This mask that they want everyone to see, and basically they're hiding their shame, they're hiding their unworthiness, and so they construct this great mask, what uh, to be like what they think everyone else wants to see. So they put this mask up there, and they think it's wonderful. It's great. It's like, here, this is who I am. Look at, I please people all the time. I make everyone happy. I'm just really friendly, and so they think that people fall in love with this mask, but really they don't. It's kind of easy to see beyond that mask. For someone who doesn't have to deal with the type of toxic shame that nice guys do.
Well, so, okay, I have a twofold question here for you, David, because this is super, super interesting. I want to know what's behind the mask and what exactly is toxic shame? Why is it toxic?
Well, toxic shame. Oh, that's a really good question. Toxic shame. There's John Bradshaw was basically a pioneer of toxic shame, and this is a very very deep stuff. With some of the nice guys that I work with, they have really bad toxic shame, and we have to do a lot of deep work because they have this feeling of unworthiness. Could be it can be generated from anywhere. I mean, it could be an unhappy family life when they were younger. They could have had a very bad social life when they were young. They could have been ostracized. We as human beings were social creatures, right? We're programmed to be that way.
Yeah.
So for us, being ostracized is almost a death sentence. It's like the worst thing that can happen. So nice guys are terrified of that, absolutely terrified of being ostracized, of being kicked out of the tribe, of not belonging in any way. So they end up doing anything that they can to stay within the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And this shame that they build up, that they have underneath, is kind of like, well, this is who I really am, but it's going to get me kicked out of the tribe, so I have to hide that. And there's a lot of shame involved with that.
So the fact that they have to hide who they think they are underneath creates shame because they feel they're not being authentic. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice guys feel that they're not okay just as they are.
Okay. I have another question because I read this book. It's Dr. Robert Glover, right?
Yes, Dr. Robert Glover.
Dr. Robert Glover, who wrote No More Mr. Nice Guy. And might I add that, David, you've been trained by him personally.
Yes.
Which to me is amazing because that book made a huge difference for me when I read it in helping coach my clients. And in that book, I read somewhere that there was a thing that was happening, that a lot of boys were being raised primarily by women because the dads were off to the office and didn't really pay much mind to the kids when they got home because they had work to do at home. Is that part of it?
Oh, absolutely. Most of the nice guys that I work with have not had a positive male role model in their life. They've been raised by women primarily, and that's wonderful. But I don't think that inherently a woman knows how to be a man. So it's very hard for them to teach a young boy how to be a man. I've come to believe that young men need male role models, positive male role models in their life in order to kind of complete their manhood. And a lot of these nice guys don't get that.
I quite agree with you. And it's always amazing when I tell this concept to my clients who are actually the nice guys and get friended all the time and all these beautiful women. And they might be very handsome. I might have worked with them on their wardrobe, but still, you can take a horse to water, but they still don't get it. What this book teaches is so amazing. When I explain this concept to them, it's like a light goes on. To go, oh, really? You mean it isn't bad for me to touch a woman, or not all men are like bad guys, and women actually want to have sex, and they actually want to spend time with me, and they want me to be assertive. Do you come across that?
Oh, all the time, all the
Yeah.
time. Nice guys have this deep fear of, of touching women or approaching women or expressing their desire in any way to a woman. They just feel it's bad, and I mean, they get, terrible anxiety around it. That's one of the things that I find I have to work with a
Hmm.
lot with these guys because, they don't believe me. So when I hold my workshops, I will actually bring in female coaches, and they'll tell these guys, yeah, it's okay, you can touch me. And they're like, really? They just
Oh.
don't believe it, and then when they actually do it, it's just like, oh, well, that was the most natural thing in the world. It
Hmm.
felt really good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're again social creatures. We're used to touching each other. That's something that we need as.
Yeah. We do. I read somewhere on one of Eric Barker's posts. I don't know if you follow Eric Barker, but he's amazing. He said we thrive on affection and on touch. And one of the exercises he does for his people is to go out and hug 5 people a day. Doesn't matter who. Just hug them. Can be a guy, can be a woman, whatever. But just go out and do it. And I think that the nice guys are kind of missing out on that, aren't they?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my current group I'm running right now, I tell the guys, I want you to hug each other. I want you to get used to that, physical contact, because nice guys can end up being very isolated and very starved for human touch.
Yeah.
This week we had an assignment. I give them a homework assignment every week
Love it.
between groups, and this time I said, I want you to go out and I want you to talk to 5 women and I want you to touch them in a social manner. And
Yeah.
every single one of those guys were triggered.
That's scary, man. I mean, a lot of the men that I work with are just, they can talk to other women that they're not attracted to. But what I find when they start talking to women that they do find beautiful and attractive, they go, oh my God, I'd love to go out with her. But they get this knot in their stomach and they just can't even say hi. They're so freaked out. And so this is what you help them with, and this is what I help them with. I've also found that the Mr. Nice Guy syndrome isn't necessarily limited to introverts. It can be, the most successful businessman or accomplished even socially, but when it comes to women, there's this like, do you find that?
Oh yeah, I have a nice guy that I've been working with for a year, and he does improv comedy. He's an extrovert. I mean, he can talk to anyone anywhere all the time, but he still has this deep toxic shame. So, when it comes to women, especially very attractive women, women that he's attracted to, it's very bizarre. He becomes just this closed in introvert, and it's like, wow, that's just so incongruent with who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does happen even with extroverts.
It totally does. Now, I'm curious because a lot of my guys will ask, well, how do I get out of the friend zone? Because really, that's kind of the topic of what we're talking about today is truly the friend zone, getting stuck in it, and then how do you get out of it? What's your experience been with that, David?
That is a really good question.
I'm full of them.
It is possible to get out of the friend zone. I've done it many times. I've helped clients do it many times. It's pretty difficult to do though because you've already kind of established this friendship, and so in order to change that paradigm, it requires really really strong boundaries in order to be able to do that. I
Mhm.
mean, a nice guy has to be willing to say to a female like, look, I'm interested in you as a partner and not as a friend. And that is extremely hard to do for most nice guys because that's a healthy boundary. And the nice guys that I've helped and they've been able to do this, they've actually been able to get the girl that they were friend zoned by.
Oh my God. So okay, so let's, are these new friends that these guys are making that they want to date? They're women they've known for a while?
Oh yeah, the one guy that I helped, he's terrific. Such a great guy.
Hmm.
He had been in the friend zone with this woman for 5 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they had been friends for 5 years, and he was harboring this crush on her, and he just stayed in the friend zone. And then finally, on his birthday, he had a party, and at the party, he told her how he really felt, and she was, oh, I don't really feel that way about you, and
Ouch.
he was absolutely crushed. It was just the worst feeling in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then he came to us, and that's when we started working with him. And I told him about boundaries. I told him exactly how he should treat this woman. And about a month later, they were dating.
So what was it that pushed her over the edge to want to date him in a romantic way?
Well, I told him, I said, look, you need to start being direct and honest. That's what you need to start doing. And for nice guys, that's extremely hard. Most nice guys, I tell them to start doing that. It takes a while for them to be able to start having direct, open, and honest communication. But he was able to do it almost right away. And because he was direct and honest and expressed how he felt, that got him out of the friend zone
After 5 years.
after 5 years.
Wow. But you said he was crushed because she turned him down at first. So what did he do after that? After he, licked his wounds, et cetera, and went back?
Well, they were like workers in the same building, not exactly coworkers. So they
Okay.
still had constant communication with each
Mhm.
other. So that was in his situation, but he did, call her a couple times because, she was a little worried about him.
Okay.
They did have some interactions outside of the workspace.
So there was already, a lot going on for them as friends. And then I guess just took a little time for her to realize, hey, wait a minute, this guy's a good catch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find, often it's those guys, the ones that are afraid to speak their mind, afraid to assert their feelings for women. They're the best catches. They truly are. And that's why I do what I do, because those are the guys that I want to help, because there's so many women out there that are saying, well, why can't I just find a nice guy? And they're everywhere. I mean, my clients are going, well, why don't women want a nice guy? It's like, dude, they do, but you need to change some things about the way you approach them in order to get there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, a lot of nice guys, they just don't feel like they deserve it
Yeah.
deep down. And once we get beyond that self-limiting belief,
Hmm.
the world opens up to them, and it's
Wow.
amazing.
It's an amazing thing. Well, I know that you are on limited time, so I'm gonna end this. But David, I would love to do more interviews with you because there's so much to cover with this. I just really appreciate your coming to talk with me about this subject, and I'm looking forward to helping you on your program. I'm going to be one of the female coaches is going to help these guys learn how to properly approach women, and it's okay to do so. David, please tell us, where can people find you? Where can guys find you? Because I know it's like exclusively a men's group, and I love that because they can just say whatever they want. But where can we
Right.
find you?
So I do have a meetup group.
Mhm.
It's meetup.com, and it's, let me see, slash no dash more dash Mr. dash nice dash guy.
Whew, that's long. Do you have like a Twitter account or someplace people can reach out to you? For instance, like an at David Mitchell or?
Yes, it's called Approach Life Coach, all in one word. So you can Twitter me at Approach Life Coach. I also have Facebook on Facebook, Facebook/ Approach Life Coach.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, David, for showing up here. And I know you're going to get some people reaching out to you for sure. And I'd love to send you some folks as well. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. That was David Mitchell. He is doing a program of, tell me the name again.
The name of the program is
Yeah.
called The Authentic Man.
I love that name, teaching men to be authentic. Thank you, David. I am Esmée St. James, founder and CEO of The Dating Muse. I do dating and style coaching for the nice guy. So we work together. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next episode. What's it going to be? Who knows? But it's going to be fun. Bye for now. Love you.